This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Noach is called a Tzaddik. He's called a Tamim. But not just that. Noach is not only called a Tzaddik and a Tamim, he's also called an Ish. Noach, Ish Tzaddik, Tamim Haya B'Doyroisav. What does this mean, Ish? You could ask a question. In the Haggadah we have the Alad Banim, we have the Chacham, the Rasha, the Tam. The Tam seems to be used in a derogatory sense. Tam mahu aimer mazois. He cannot articulate a sophisticated question. And yet, we know that the word Tam is used in Leshvach. What do we say about Yaakov? Yaakov ish Tam. Yaakov's called a Tam. So Yaakov Avinu, the Bechir Shabbavis, is called a Tam. Noach here is called a Tamim. So why in the Haggadah is the Tam used in somewhat of a derogatory sense? Says the Chavetz Chaim, Yaakov Avinu is not a Tam. Tam is a midah. It's a midah of tamimus. It's a midah of wholesomeness, of perfection. However, it has to come with a healthy dose of common sense. It's good to be tamimustic, and it's good to be, so to speak, unsuspecting, but that's what it seems. At times, one has to be betamimus, but one always has to have a healthy sense of kabdeu v'chashdeu. One has to use common sense. One cannot act with naivete. One has to utilize his seichel hayashar. Yaakov wasn't a tam, he was an ish tam. He had bailus over his tamimus. He knew when to use it, he knew when not to use it. Ishnami, the Baal, the husband. It's not good to be just a tam. You have to be an ish tam. Tamimus is a midah, you have to know when to use it. Likewise, says Rav Moshe Feinstein, it's not necessarily good to be a tzaddik. Who says you should be a tzaddik? You could be an ish tzaddik. You have to know when to be righteous, and you have to know when to use common sense. It says in Koheles, al titzdak harbe, don't be too big of a tzaddik. You have to know when to be a tzaddik, when not to be a tzaddik. Everything in this world, it's not enough to know Arachayim, Choshemishba, Yordei Even Ezer. As Rabbi Salanter would say, you need the fifth chelik of Shulchan Aruch, which might be the most important, and that is common sense. They asked Rabbi Salanter, so who are you going to marry off your daughter to? A tzaddik, a chassid, a lamdin. Rabbi Salanter said, according to the Torah, we only need one thing. As biti nasati lo ish hazeh. That's the starting point. The starting point is you have to be a man. You have to use common sense, intelligence, reason, and then through one seichel, one can learn to apply when to use tzidkos, when to use tamimus, and when to use all the midos. All the midos are measurements. But before you measure something, you need the seichel hayashar to know how to measure it. May we be zoicha to be matzah chen be'enei Elokim miyadam.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.